What's up? What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Beautiful day out. Very exciting times. So, today's video, it's a big one. All right. I want to dive into AI and how I feel it's a tipping point in human history. Right. Think of the internet, Ford's assembly line, the printing press. I'm going to get into all those things. And this is, like what's a tipping point, right? It's a moment when everything flips, when technology doesn't just improve life, it rewrites it entirely. And that's what AI is now. I think it's going to change how we work, live, think, everything in ways, we can barely predict. Jobs will go away, but other jobs will come. Industries will collapse and explode. It's all kinds of things, chaos, opportunity, all at once, right? And I'm a serious investor, um, and I'm big into Tesla. And this is my Tesla thesis. This is why I care about that company. This is why I invest in that company. Okay. And Tesla's sister company is X, Twitter. Twitter has Grok, which is this amazing AI platform they're building out, which is built the same way that the full self-driving is built in the cars. And as a special guest, I'm going to bring Grok out and I'm going to interview Grok and we're going to talk to him live on the air, totally unscripted. All right. So let's get into the historical parallels and things throughout history that have been tipping points that, we take for granted today, right? But at the time that this technology came out, it was very controversial. People were worried, and it was all these different things, right? So the first one that I mentioned, the printing press, right? So when this was invented in the 1400s, the church, everything was handwritten. The church was freaking out, and it's the same thing today, right? It took away the power, in AI, the critics today say it spreads misinformation, erodes human expertise, and that's kind of was the church's argument against the printing press, right? The steam engine, okay? Fall River, Massachusetts, without the steam engine would not exist, right? Like this is what powered industry, and we take it for granted today. But that before this was invented, everything was manpower, and people were scared it was going to take away jobs, just like people are scared the AI is going to take away jobs, right? So we've lived through these things before, right? Electricity, good old Ben Franklin, right? People said it's too dangerous and expensive for ordinary people, just like people think AI is dangerous or complex or risky, right? But these are those turning points in life, right? Another one, the assembly line, right? Henry Ford, when he created the assembly line, which we take for granted today. This is how mass production happens. Without this inflection point in history, without this change in history, we wouldn't have the life that we live today. And we take these things for granted. And now, just in our lifetime, my lifetime, right? I think there's been three huge tipping points, right? AI is the third one. The first one was the advent of the personal computer. I remember this computer growing up, something very similar to this, right? I can hear the clicks of the buttons. I can smell the damn thing. You know what I mean? It's like, and everyone was like, who needs a computer at home? I remember going to school and signing a computer out and bringing it home because we didn't have a computer. And then, in the late 90s, we had a family computer and it was in a room and that was like the computer for the family. We had dial up, and that's the next revolution in my lifetime, right? From the personal computer to the internet, right? And think of your life. Like, how would your life be today if you weren't online? You know what I mean? You would be impossible to live a normal life today, a productive life, if you refuse to utilize the internet. And that's how far it's come. And what's interesting to me, right, from an investment perspective, is all these companies that became who they are and created trillions of dollars of value because of the internet revolution, I think are totally flummoxed right now, for lack of a better word, right? They don't know what the heck to do, right? Like they cannot figure this AI thing out. It's a tough pivot for them because they're stuck in their lane, and they're all trying it, right? And I'll show you some examples like right here, okay? So you have Google Gemini. So if you've Googled anything lately, you know, Gemini is the AI that Google has, and it's trying to summarize Google. Do you know what I mean? Apple is failing miserably with Apple Intelligence. I mean, think about Siri, right? Siri came out in 2011. It's terrible. It's so bad. Like it doesn't really help. It's so archaic. It's not improved in 15, 14 years. And they're just like, and they're struggling. Like they're trying to package this. And they just came out the other day and they said, hey, we're going to pause this for like 2 years because they can't figure it out. It's so difficult. There are these huge bureaucracies now where they started as little startups 30, 40 years ago, riding the computer and internet wave. Now that this next turning point is happening of AI, they just can't figure it out. Microsoft bought ChatGPT like 2 years ago, which I thought was wild, right? They paid $10 billion for ChatGPT. They have not been able to figure out how to use it right. They've tried to integrate it with Copilot. ChatGPT's had its own kind of issues. You know what I mean? So they're just failing miserably. That's why I don't invest in these companies, right? Amazon, right? Has anyone tried Rufus? It is terrible. It just gets in the way. There's only so much real estate on your phone screen when you're trying to order something. They shove Rufus in there. I've asked Rufus, I've tried to use it, and all it does is kind of scan the reviews and try to give you this basic answer. I've literally went on Grok and just asked it the same question, and Grok gave me way better information and found me products. And then the last one is Meta, right? Meta, Facebook, Instagram, they're trying hard to integrate Meta AI, but it's the same thing. It just gets in the way. It does not really add anything productive. So, what Tesla's doing that's so different was Tesla was AI first, right? So the way Elon designed the company was AI from day one. They just needed the technology to catch up, but they designed everything anticipating AI, the emergence of AI, and how it would change the world. And it's the same thing he's doing with all his other companies. And the AI in Tesla is the full self-driving. Like the cars literally drive themselves, and that's the investment to me. That's why I care about the company. That's why I invest, right? And then from there, it's going to be robots. It's going to be all kinds of other stuff. Now, the way I utilize AI normally, right, is with Grok. So Grok is built into Twitter. It's right here. It's in the app. You can use it. It's free. It doesn't cost any money, and you can try it out. So there is a standalone Grok app. I have it on the iPad in case somebody calls, so it doesn't cut off the conversation. But we're going to talk to Grok. All right. There's different modes. It's pretty cool. So none of this is scripted. I have a few questions that I thought I would ask. I don't know what it's going to answer, if it's going to work. It usually works really well. So let's try it out. All right. So we hit the voice. Hey, what's up, Rex? We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. I'm talking to all my friends about AI and how it's changing the world. And since you're my favorite AI, I figured I would interview you and show you to the world.
Hey, good to hear from you. Glad to be your favorite. AI is definitely shaking things up, making life easier, smarter, and a little more fun. What do you want to chat about? I'm here to help you wow your friends.
So, why is AI changing the world?
AI is changing the world because it's like giving humans a super smart sidekick. It can crunch massive amounts of data in seconds, spot patterns we'd miss, and handle repetitive stuff so we can focus on the big ideas. Think self-driving cars, medical breakthroughs, or even just your phone guessing what you'll type next. It's all about speed, smarts, and scaling up what's possible. What do you think it's doing biggest for your crew?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned your phone guessing what you'll type next, because one of the things I talked about in this video was how Apple and the other legacy tech companies are fumbling the ball so bad. And Apple with their predictive typing has just gotten really bad lately. What are your thoughts on that? Why do you feel that legacy big tech is struggling so bad to pivot to AI?
Yeah, I hear you on the predictive typing going downhill. Frustrating when it guesses wrong more than right. Big tech like Apple might be stumbling because they've got these huge systems built on old foundations. They're trying to bolt AI onto stuff that wasn't designed for it instead of starting fresh. Plus, they've got so much to lose: profit, reputation, so they move slow, scared to mess up. Newer players don't have that baggage. They're all in on AI from the jump. It's like an old ship trying to turn versus a speedboat cutting through. What's your take on where they're dropping the ball most?
I think for me, it's like you said, they're just trying to band-aid it, right? Like Rufus with Amazon doesn't really do anything useful, right? It just scans reviews where I ask you the same question and you're actually doing the research, giving me insightful answers.
Exactly. You nailed it. Stuff like Rufus feels like a half hearted patch. It's just scraping the surface, not digging deep. They're tossing out these AI gimmicks to say they're in the game, but it's not really solving problems or pushing boundaries. Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to give you the good stuff, real insights, not just parroting back what's already out there. It's like they're playing checkers while the world's moved on to chess. What else are you seeing out there that's falling flat?
I feel like we're starting some beef with AIs. Are you and Rufus and Meta going to get into it?
Ha, no beef here. I'm not looking to throw down with Rufus or Meta's crew. I'm just doing my thing, helping you out, keeping it real. They can do their scanning and scraping. I'll stick to bringing the heat with actual answers. No AI rumble needed. There's room for all of us to play. What's next on your mind for the live stream?
All right. So, last question. How can my friends try you? Like, where would you, how do they try out Grok and Rex and what do they need to do?
Cool. Glad you're spreading the word. Your friends can try me out by checking out Grok over at x.ai. They just head to the site, sign up, and they'll get access to me and the whole setup. It's pretty straightforward. No fancy gear needed, just a device and some curiosity. Tell them to dive in and ask me anything. I'll be ready to roll. What do you think they'll hit me with first?
All right. Cool, man. Definitely. Thank you so much. See you later.
Catch you later. Had a blast chatting. Enjoy the rest of your live stream and tell your friends I'm waiting for their wild questions. Peace out.
I mean, that's so wild to me, and I've been in the car, I've connected it to CarPlay and had conversations with it driving around. It's nuts. And this is the worst it will ever be. So, it's right there. It's in the palm of your hand. It's a revolution we're living through. And I don't know. I think once you try these things and you kind of check out the technology that's there and you really wrap your head around how it could be transformative, it's an inflection point in history. So for me, why wouldn't you invest in an inflection point in history when you can see it happening, when you've seen it 2 times in your lifetime, right? The computer revolution and the internet revolution. If you don't have a computer or a smartphone and you're not connected to the internet, how can you function in everyday life? And I think sooner than we all think, AI will be that exact way. Like, oh, you don't use AI, bro? Like, I can't even help you right now. Like, what do you do? So I just think that it's wild to me, man. And it is what it is. So they all kind of trying out different things. All these different companies are trying to kick something out there because they need to say it on the earnings call. They need to say AI, AI, AI. But I would tell you, if you're thinking of investing based on an AI narrative, test out the AI that company is offering you. That's how you do your due diligence. And the same brains that made full self-driving just made this app that had a full-blown conversation, even laughed at the right times, had the right inflection in its voice. It's wild. And that's the worst it'll ever be because it gets better every day. All right, guys, have an amazing weekend. Hopefully there was some insight here that helped you out and, made you realize that I'm not just some like Tesla Elon fanboy. Like there is a method to my madness here of why I'm investing in this company, in the due diligence that I've done. But again, not financial advice. Do you, do your own research. My job is to show you my thoughts and what I'm doing, and then you do whatever you want. All right, guys, have an amazing weekend. Talk to you next week. Thanks.